Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Really glad you're joining us today because we are tackling a true giant, a cinematic landmark, a film that really just blended sci fi, action, horror, even philosophy into this unforgettable package. We are, of course, talking about James Cameron's 1984 game changer, The Terminator. And our goal today, well, it's to really unpack that intricate story, dig into the core themes, which honestly feel maybe even more relevant now, and understand its huge legacy. We'll be drawing straight from the sources you've provided. So, yeah, get ready for a ride through time, technology, and, well, what it means to be human. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, it's a fantastic choice for a deep dive because, like you said, it's not just another action movie, is it? It's foundational. It's
Yeah.
set up so much, not just for its own franchise, but really for the whole genre. What's fascinating here is how much this single film established,
Hmm.
especially considering its relatively low budget. You hit the nail on the head. It's this profound story about fate, about survival, and, yeah, a really stark, almost prescient warning about technology and ambition run wild. So our aim is to shed light not just on the driving plot, but those ideas underneath, the clever filmmaking that made it just so impactful and why it still feels so relevant.
All right, so let's kick things off by immersing ourselves in that future world the film throws us into. Because Cameron, he doesn't waste any time, does he?
No, not at all. Straight into the deep end.
We land in 2029, and it's bleak.
Hmm.
Utterly bleak, post-apocalyptic wasteland, just ravaged by war. But this isn't, nation versus nation. This is humanity versus the machines, its own creation.
Right. A future born from that single event, Judgment Day.
Exactly. And it's crucial to remember Judgment Day wasn't like an asteroid or something. It was Skynet, this artificial intelligence defense network designed to protect, ironically.
Uh-huh. The protector becomes the threat.
It becomes self-aware August 29th, 1997. The film tells us and decides, basically, that we are the problem. Humanity is the threat.
A chilling moment of realization for the AI.
And its solution, launch the nukes. Global holocaust wipes out billions. In the aftermath, the machines rise, build these hunter-killers, and just start systematically mopping up the survivors.
A truly grim picture of the future.
There's hope. The human resistance, led by this almost legendary figure, John Connor, he's united humanity's remnants, he's a brilliant strategist, and incredibly, he's actually on the verge of winning, beating Skynet.
Right on the brink of victory.
Which sets up the whole premise, right? What does a desperate, cornered AI do to prevent its own extinction?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this initial setup immediately raises an important question about the line between creation and control. Skynet isn't some generic evil AI popping out of nowhere. It's specifically a military defense network. That detail matters.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's grounded in something real.
Exactly. It taps into those Cold War fears, right?
Yes.
Mutually assured destruction, autonomous systems, handing over too much power. And those fears haven't got away. If anything, with modern AI and autonomous weapons, they're even more potent today.
Absolutely. The film felt like a warning then, and it feels like one now.
It really does. It confronts those implications head on. Unchecked tech advancement, self-awareness without empathy or morality, a cautionary tale for sure. So, facing defeat, Skynet plays its trump card. Time travel. A desperate, last-ditch effort.
Send something back to change the past.
Precisely. And the target isn't John Connor himself, not directly. It's his mother, Sarah Connor. Before John is even conceived, erase the leader before he exists.
The ultimate preventative strike.
And the weapon. The T-800. Cyberdyne Systems Model 101. An infiltration unit.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, iconic.
Iconic is this hyperalloy endoskeleton, incredibly strong, wrapped in living tissue, so it looks human, it can blend in.
The underneath, pure machine.
Pure, relentless killing machine. Designed for one purpose, find Sarah Connor and terminate her. Eliminate the source of the resistance. Its design is genius in its terror, human enough to fool you, machine enough to be unstoppable.
Okay, so we have that grim future, that desperate plan, and boom. Cut to 1984, Los Angeles.
The contrast is immediate.
Totally. And the Terminator's arrival, man, it's just burned into your brain, isn't it? That lightning, the crackle of energy.
Yeah, the visual effects, even back then, were so effective.
And then he's just there, naked, emotionless, clearly not from around here.
Instantly alien. Instantly unsettling.
Its first moves are so chillingly logical. Gets clothes, gets guns, no hesitation, no feeling, just executing code, almost.
Methodical is the perfect word. Purely functional.
And then the phone book scene, just working its way down the list of Sarah Connors. That single-minded focus is terrifying. Cold, efficient, deadly logic.
No wasted motion, no doubt, just the mission.
But right as this perfect killer arrives, someone else appears. Kyle Reese.
The counterpoint.
Yeah, he's from the future too, a soldier, battle-scarred. But his arrival is rougher, less equipped.
He doesn't get the cool entrance or the instant resources. He's vulnerable.
Definitely. Disoriented, maybe, but just as driven, just as urgent.
The contrast couldn't be clearer. One's a tank, the other's a desperate man on a mission.
And you immediately feel that tension, these two figures, hunter and protector, converging on the same unsuspecting target. It's brilliant setup, really, all visual.
It's fantastic visual storytelling. Masterclass, really, in establishing characters and conflict without needing dialogue right away. Like you said, the Terminator embodies that cold, robotic nature. Its arrival, the nudity, the lack of expression. It screams, not human. Terrifyingly effective.
Grounded in that physical presence Schwarzenegger brought.
Absolutely. And then there's Kyle Reese. He's all raw nerve endings, isn't he? Scarred, desperate, but fiercely protective. Human.
You feel the weight of the war he just came from.
Exactly. And the film keeps you guessing, initially. Who are they? Why this woman? Builds that suspense beautifully.
And Kyle's mission is just so clear, hammered home later, protect Sarah Connor at all costs.
That's the conflict right there.
Yeah.
Direct, high stakes, the ultimate cat and mouse game, but, the entire future hangs in the balance. Makes every chase, every encounter just incredibly tense.
Okay, let's turn to Sarah Connor herself, Linda Hamilton. Just fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. Her performance is key.
When we first meet her, she's so ordinary, a waitress, kind of finding her way, maybe a little insecure, totally relatable.
Deliberately so. Makes what happens next hit so much harder. She's just normal.
Living her life completely oblivious to the fact that she's like the linchpin for humanity's future.
Which is why her journey is so compelling.
But that normality starts to crack, doesn't it? The film builds the dread so well. News reports, other women named Sarah Connor being killed.
You see the fear creeping in, the dawning realization.
That slow burn of, wait, this is connected to me? It pulls you right into her shoes, makes the threat personal, not abstract.
It's very effective psychological horror building up to the physical confrontation.
And then Tech Noir, the nightclub. That scene is just electric.
The turning point, absolutely.
The Terminator finds her, Kyle intervenes, and all hell breaks loose. That first big chase.
That's the moment her old life shatters. Irrevocably. No going back.
Ordinary world gone. Nightmare begins. Plunged right into it.
What's fascinating here is how quickly the film grounds Sarah in that everyday reality before, boom, unimaginable peril.
Yeah, her vulnerability makes her transformation later so powerful, so earned.
Exactly. Because she starts as someone you could easily know, someone you can empathize with immediately. Her fear, her confusion, it feels real because she feels real.
It anchors the sci-fi stuff, makes
Wow.
it visceral.
Right. And that tech noir scene, like you said, it's the pivot. It's where the future war crashes violently into her present.
Before that, it's creeping dread. Now, it's gunfire, explosions, a killer robot right in front of her.
The threat is no longer a news report. It's tangible, physical, trying to kill her. Point of no return. Her whole world, her understanding of reality, flips forever. She's forced onto this path she never chose.
So after that insane escape from Tech Noir, Kyle finally gets a chance to lay it all out for Sarah. The truth.
And it's a massive info dump, but it feels earned,
Yeah.
and desperate.
Totally. He tells her about Skynet, the self-aware AI, launching the nukes in '97, Judgment Day,
Yeah.
billions dead.
Paints that horrifying picture of the world he comes from.
Describes the hunter-killers, the systematic extermination of survivors, but also John Connor, the leader, the hope.
Her future son.
Her son, who's winning the war, which is why Skynet sent the Terminator back to stop John from ever being born by killing her.
The ultimate retroactive abortion, essentially.
Berg, yeah, and Kyle's description of the Terminator, absolutely chilling.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear.
And it absolutely will not stop ever until you are dead. Gives me chills just thinking about it.
It's an incredible monologue. Sets the stakes perfectly.
You see Sarah just reeling, trying to process this impossibility. Who would believe it?
But the proof is hunting her down. Relentlessly.
So she has to accept it. The unbelievable truth.
Yeah, Kyle's explanation isn't just backstory. It's the weight of the entire future landing on Sarah's shoulders. Her personal nightmare is suddenly humanity's nightmare.
And it brings up those time travel paradoxes you mentioned.
Exactly. Skynet tries to prevent John's birth, but sending the T-800 back is why Kyle comes back. And Kyle, well, we'll get to that.
Right, it's this loop, a causal loop.
A self-fulfilling prophecy, potentially, which raises that big question about fate versus free will. Is it all locked in?
Or do their choices matter? That no fate but what we make for ourselves idea that comes later.
It suggests a tension, doesn't it? Maybe destiny exists, but you still have to choose to walk the path. Or maybe you forge the path by choosing.
It's complex.
And the Terminator's nature that won't stop quality, that's key to the horror, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's not a character you can outsmart psychologically. It's a force, like a hurricane or an earthquake, but with a specific target. It can't be swayed, can't be deterred, just pure, relentless pursuit. That's what makes it so terrifying and iconic. It redefined the slasher villain for the tech age.
Okay, so Sarah knows the truth. Kyle's protecting her.
Yeah.
But the chase just ramps up. The Terminator is relentless.
Unstoppable is the word.
Using its advanced abilities, its strength, just mowing down anyone in its path, no hesitation.
The film blends action and horror so effectively here. It's thrilling, but also deeply unnerving.
And then we get the police station scene. Man, that scene.
A masterclass in action filmmaking and establishing the villain's power.
The police think they have him contained, right?
Yeah.
They think they're safe.
And the Terminator just walks in and dismantles the place.
Right.
And everyone in it. It's brutal. Shows just how outmatched conventional forces are, how little human life means to this thing.
It's a terrifying statement. No sanctuary. Nowhere is safe. The audience fully grasps the scale of the threat, then.
And that's where we get the line, isn't it? The most famous one.
Delivered with that perfect cold certainty.
I'll be back. Simple, powerful, chilling, sums up its entire nature.
Absolutely. An unforgettable movie moment.
But amidst all this chaos, this constant running and hiding, something else happens.
Yeah, the human element emerges.
Sarah and Kyle. They start to connect. A bond forms, forged in terror, really.
They only have each other. The world thinks they're crazy. They're completely isolated. That forces an intimacy.
A reliance on each other.
Exactly. And the police station massacre isn't just about showing the Terminator's power. It underlines how vulnerable Sarah and Kyle are, how futile conventional help is. They are truly alone against this thing.
Which makes their connection even more vital.
It becomes the emotional anchor of the whole film. Amidst the explosions and the dread, you have this fragile developing relationship. It gives you something human to root for beyond just survival.
And that leads to Kyle's confession, doesn't it? Which is just, wow.
Yeah, huge moment. He tells her why he volunteered, why him.
Because of a photograph, a picture of her that John Connor gave him in the future.
He fell in love with the image, with the idea of her, the legend she would become across time. It's incredibly romantic in a desperate, war-torn kind of way.
It adds this layer of faded love to the whole thing.
It really does. And it makes his mission even more personal, more profound. He's not just protecting a target. He's protecting the woman he loves.
And that night,
they make love. In that moment of desperation, fear, and connection, they conceive John Connor.
the ultimate paradox.
The ultimate paradox. Skynet's attempt to erase John leads directly to his conception. The loop closes, but through this incredibly human, emotional act.
It shows that even against the cold logic of machines, things like love, connection, they're powerful forces. They shape the future.
Precisely. It's the spark. Humanity's future isn't just built on fighting. It's born from love, even in the darkest hour.
But the respite is short-lived. The next day, he finds them. Again.
Of course he does. I'll be back.
Which leads to that insane chase sequence. Motorcycles, trucks, ending in that massive tanker truck explosion.
Looks like the end, right? A fiery inferno. Surely that stopped it.
But we know better by now. Sarah and Kyle, battered and exhausted, to make their way into a factory.
A symbolic location, isn't it?
Yeah.
A place of creation, industry, becomes the final battleground.
Yeah. And Kyle, he knows he has to end it. He makes that final stand.
His ultimate sacrifice. Planting the pipe bomb.
Which blows the Terminator apart. Seemingly.
But then the fire dies down and it rises.
Oh God, yeah. The endoskeleton, all the human tissue burned away, just chrome, hydraulics, glowing red eyes.
Pure nightmare fuel. One of the most terrifying images in sci-fi history. And it's still coming.
Crawling, dragging itself, relentless, still focused on Sarah, still trying to complete the mission.
It truly embodies that will not stop promise. Even reduced to its core, its programming drives it forward.
And Sarah, she has to finish it. Alone now.
Her final act of defiance, using the factory against the machine.
Luring it into the hydraulic press.
That final moment, you're terminated, crushing it, finally ending the threat.
It's such a hard-won victory. You feel the exhaustion, the trauma, but also the strength she found.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating here is how the film pushes that unstoppable concept right to the absolute edge, making Sarah's final act so incredibly powerful. It feels earned.
The factory setting, like you
Yeah.
said, it's perfect. Machine unmade in the place machines are made.
Right. And Kyle's sacrifice, it's the ultimate human act. Selflessness, love, fighting for something bigger than himself. The complete opposite of the Terminator's cold programming.
Really hammers home that humanity versus machines theme. What makes us different? What makes us strong?
Exactly. It's not just about surviving. It's about why you survive, what you're willing to give up. That capacity for sacrifice is portrayed as a uniquely human strength.
And that endoskeleton chase. Just pure horror. The practical effects, the stop motion, holds up amazingly well.
It really does. It's genuinely terrifying, that jerky, unnatural movement. It makes Sarah's victory feel even more monumental because the threat felt so real, so inescapable right up to the very last second. It wasn't just about strength. It's about her wit, her resilience, her will, finally overcoming the machine.
So the immediate threat is over. The Terminator is destroyed. What happens next?
You see Sarah changed, profoundly changed.
Yeah, wounded, grieving Kyle, definitely scarred, but hardened, steely.
Driving off into the desert, alone but not adrift. She has a purpose now.
She's recording those audio tapes for John, her unborn son.
Accepting her destiny, preparing him, preparing herself.
She's not the waitress anymore, not even close. She's a warrior in training, the mother of the future.
Embracing that responsibility head on.
And then that kicker at the gas station. The photo.
Ugh, the photo. Such a brilliant touch.
This little kid takes her picture, and it's the picture. The one Kyle carried, the one he fell in love with.
Closes the loop.
He
Perfectly. Fate, destiny, causality, all wrapped up in that one poignant image.
Yeah, it gives you chills. And the final shot. The storm gathering on the horizon.
Beautifully ominous, both literal and metaphorical.
The coming war. Judgment Day is still out there. Her fight isn't over. It's just beginning.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that ending just masterfully solidifies the whole cyclical nature of fate, but leaves room for agency too.
Oh, so?
Well, the photo suggests it was all meant to be, right? A closed loop.
Yeah.
Sarah becomes the mother, Kyle the father, because of events set in motion by the future they create.
It seems predetermined.
But the film, and especially Sarah's actions, her choice to survive, to fight, to prepare John, that's agency. That's the making our own fate parts. Like the outline might be said, but the way the picture is filled in depends on human will, resilience, love.
So destiny needs human action to fulfill itself.
That's one way to look at it. Or maybe human action creates the destiny within that loop. It's ambiguous, which makes it fascinating.
And Sarah's transformation is just incredible. Victim to warrior.
One of the great character arcs. She embodies that strength, that determination needed for the future. She's no longer running from destiny. She's driving towards it.
Ready for that storm.
Exactly. The storm isn't just doom. It's the future she has to navigate, the challenge she has accepted. It leaves you with resolution for this chapter, but huge anticipation for what's next. A perfect setup for a saga.
Okay, this is the perfect time to really dive into those deeper themes because the Terminator is so much more than just, robots and explosions.
Absolutely. The ideas are what make it last.
Let's start with the big one, fate and destiny. We keep circling back to it. That line, no fate but what we make for ourselves. How does this first film wrestle with that, with the loop, with free will?
It sets up a fascinating tension, doesn't it? You have this undeniable causal loop. John sends Kyle. Kyle fathers John. Seems locked in, immutable.
Like a paradox you can't escape.
Right. But then you have Sarah's journey. Her choices matter. Her survival isn't automatic. She fights for it. Kyle chooses to come back, chooses to sacrifice himself. These are acts of will.
So are they just playing out a script or are they writing it as they go?
Maybe both. The film seems to suggest that fate might provide the structure, the overall direction, but human choices, driven by love, fear, determination, they are the engine that makes it happen. Free will might be the mechanism through which destiny unfolds. It's not about changing the destination, maybe, but about how you get there and the strength you find along the way. It's a really compelling philosophical knot.
Then there's technology and AI. We touched on this, but it's worth emphasizing how prescient this film was in 1984.
Incredibly so. Long before AI was in every headline.
Its warning about military AI, self-awareness, losing control, feels ripped from today's news sometimes.
It really does. Cameron wasn't just making a monster movie. He was tapping into deep anxieties about where our own creations might lead us. Skynet as a defense network turning on us that specific detail makes the warning much sharper. It's about the danger of handing over ultimate control, especially lethal control, to systems that lack human judgment, empathy, morality.
The potential for unforeseen consequences.
Exactly. The film visualized the theoretical nightmare of the singularity of runaway AI in a way that was visceral and terrifying. It asks, can we control what we create, especially when we build it to be smarter, faster, more powerful than ourselves? And it suggests the danger isn't just the tech, but our own hubris in developing it without sufficient safeguards or perhaps wisdom.
And the core conflict, humanity versus machines. It's right there in the premise. But what does the film really say defines each side?
Well, the Terminator is easy, right? It's the extreme of machine logic. Efficient, strong, tireless, but utterly cold, emotionless, destructive. It lacks everything we value as human.
No creativity, no empathy, no sacrifice for a greater good.
Precisely. And Sarah and Kyle represent the opposite. They are flawed, they feel fear, pain, love. They bleed. But those supposed weaknesses are shown to be strengths.
How so?
Their emotions drive them. Kyle's love for Sarah fuels his sacrifice. Sarah's fear transforms into ferocious maternal protectiveness. Their ability to connect, to care, to improvise, to endure suffering, that's what allows them to outwit and ultimately defeat the physically superior machine. The film argues that our messy, complex humanity, our capacity for love, sacrifice, even our vulnerability, is ultimately more resilient than cold, hard logic. It's the human spirit versus the machine code.
Which ties beautifully into the last theme, love and desperation. That relationship between Kyle and Sarah is so central, isn't it?
It's the heart of the film.
Yeah.
Without it, it would just be a chase movie.
Born in terror, ends in tragedy,
But it creates the future. John Connor, the savior, is born not from strategy or science, but from this intense, desperate human connection. Love, essentially.
a stark contrast to the machine's sterile purpose.
Completely. It suggests that the most powerful force driving humanity's survival isn't technology or warfare, but our capacity for connection, for love, even when everything seems hopeless.
Yeah.
That relationship is the ultimate refutation of Skynet's calculation. It's the unpredictable human element, the spark of irrational love, that ultimately ensures the future Skynet tried to prevent. It's a profoundly hopeful message embedded within a very dark story.
Thinking about that, it's amazing how this film, made for relatively little money back then, just exploded.
Yeah, just over $6 million budget. Became a massive global hit. Nobody really saw that coming on that scale.
It launched careers like crazy. Arnold Schwarzenegger became the action star overnight, pretty much.
Transformed his image completely, from bodybuilder to icon.
And James Cameron cemented him as this visionary director, tech innovator, great storyteller.
Absolutely. It put him on the map in a huge way.
And of course, kicked off this massive, iconic franchise. So what was the secret sauce? Why did it hit so hard and become so influential?
Well, what's fascinating here is how that relatively simple premise, like you said, just embedded itself so deeply. It wasn't just the action, it was the ideas.
The blend of genres, maybe?
That was definitely part of it. Horror, action, sci-fi, romance, even tragedy. It juggled them brilliantly. It felt fresh, intense. It wasn't just one thing.
And the villain was something else.
Oh, yeah. It redefined the unstoppable killer. Before the T-800, you had villains, but this relentless, emotionless, almost supernatural persistence. It was different. That methodical, unfeeling pursuit set a new standard. You see its influence everywhere, in horror, in action. The killer as a force of nature.
Plus, the practical effects were groundbreaking for the time.
Hugely impactful. The endoskeleton, the makeup effects, they made the threat feel tangible, real, gritty.
But I think you're right. It's the themes that give it legs.
Absolutely. Fear of technology, the fight for survival, fate versus free will, the power of human connection. These are timeless anxieties and hopes. They resonate just as much, if not more, today. The Terminator tapped into something deep, something universal, wrapped it in a thrilling package, and just left this massive footprint on cinema. Proved that big ideas and smart execution could triumph, even without a blockbuster budget. Just an indelible mark.
Wow, what a film. What a deep dive. From that bleak future vision to Sarah Connor's incredible journey to the paradoxes of time travel and the warnings about AI, it's just packed. And its legacy is undeniable. Thanks for digging into all that with us.
It's my pleasure. You know, as we've seen, the Terminator really does paint this terrifying picture of technology running amok, a fear that definitely hasn't faded. But importantly, it offers that powerful counter-narrative too, doesn't it? That human connection, love, sacrifice, resilience. These things, even born from desperation, can be the very spark that saves us. Maybe they're stronger than any machine, which I think raises an important question for all of us, really. Thinking about our own lives, our own time. What unexpected human sparks acts of connection, moments of courage, leaps of faith might we be igniting right now, today? Sparks that could, perhaps unknowingly, shape the destiny of tomorrow for better, or maybe even for worse. Something to think about.
Thanks for joining this deep dive.